Hey guys.
Hello!
What do we have here?
Saw Max.
Saw Max, the maximum saw. Do you need to saw to the max? Get a Saw Max.
So this is a new tool that we picked up. Whisker needed to cut some metal.
Some stuff. We'll show you guys that later.
Yes. And I needed to cut some wood, or at least try to use it on my bookshelves because my bookshelves are taking forever. So this is a Saw Max, and I guess it's relatively new from Dremel. It's got a nice little wheel there, and it's got like a mitering angle. Is it okay if I move it?
Yeah, you gotta unlatch it first.
Where do I?
It's to set the cut depth, actually.
Oh, well, okay, whatever. Oh, okay. So there we go.
Yep.
You can set the cut to be whatever different depth you want, and then latch it back in place. I'll let Whisker do that. And so the good thing about this is because it's kind of dangerous and you could cut yourself. Like, I saw my life flashing before my eyes when I helped Whisker cut some stuff. Is down here, there's a little tab that you have to press before this button, I guess, depresses. So otherwise, nothing.
Yeah, this little sucker's got some torque to it. It jumps when you turn it on.
Did I get it? Oh, there, I got it.
Yeah, we could actually get that on film. 1 sec, we'll plug it in.
So, because I didn't lift the tab, nothing. It is plugged in though. Once I lift the tab, you see that little jerk? Yeah.
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 Yeah, that'll cut the heck out of pretty much anything.
It's pretty hardcore.
Yeah. They've got a carbide bit, a metal cutting bit, and a diamond bit for tiles and such.
They do.
Alright, I think that's enough of that. We've got a whole big show for you guys. Let's get to it.
Huzzah!
Alright, so we're shooting a segment here in the new studio. The audio is going to be a little bit echoey yet because we haven't had a chance to start the acoustic tiles for this room yet.
Soon. Very soon.
Yeah, so many things going on with the trip, including this little fella here, which is our rack case that's going to California with us.
Yes.
We need to be able to produce audio and video shows on the road.
What's going to be in it again?
In here is going to be the tone port,
Okay.
UX8, which is an audio interface,
Okay.
professional grade.
Yeah.
Mac Mini.
Yeah.
And the Blackmagic Intensity Extreme, which is an HDMI capture device.
Woo-hoo.
And we need to fit an LCD display in here, a keyboard, a mouse, some XLR cables, and some mics and mic stands. They all got to go in here.
Yep.
Probably some power conditioning too, if we can figure it out. So anyway, let's see where we are as of this week. I'm gonna just open this guy up here.
I believe it's waterproof too.
Here's the front. It's not waterproof, but you could drop it in the water and not break anything as long as you pull it right back out.
Oh, well, that's
So
handy.
I'm gonna get this side here as well.
Yeah, I think you open the back up first.
Yeah, both sides open, and both sides will be open when it's in use too.
Yep.
So
And it's a 4U rack mount case with handles on the side, and we found on eBay this computer, this 1U rack mount.
we'll show up some pictures
computer.
of what it looked like.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
There you go.
And
we are replacing it and re-outfitting it with some new, improved things. So if you guys remember last week, we got the LCD screen from Joe Grand. Thanks, Joe. And it is, fortunately for us, big enough. So here's the original screen.
yeah, so this is the 3x4 aspect ratio cover that was on there before. I've obviously removed all the electronics from this guy.
Right.
And that is going to be cut to fit this LCD module, which Joe Grand sent over.
I'll remove that.
And that'll obviously set in there and be centered and fixed and whatever, and then, but Eddie had there, the bezel will fit over there, but you'll be able to see the whole screen.
Yep.
Yeah. Still working on a good design for the keyboard and mouse stuff, but this part is coming together well, and there's enough room back behind for the electronics to fit in the back of this shelf. Here's the USB control board for that display. That display actually runs on USB, and this is a product that Joe designed and is for sale. We'll put a link to that.
Field Monitor Pro, I believe it is called.
We'll put a link to that in the description.
Yep.
There you go. So this is where we're at so far, and the shelf is going to be modified quite heavily yet. There's still a lot to do. It needs to be put back together, painted, all that. The tone port's probably going in the bottom two spots here. And in the middle, that's where the Mac Mini and the Intensity Extreme are going to be going.
Cool.
Above the tone port and below the shelf. They'll be right in the middle and very protected and secured. We're trying to think of a good way to shock mount them so that they don't get bounced around at all too. That should be
Hydraulics,
nice.
baby. Hydraulics.
Now, one thing to note here on this is that this server LCD / keyboard drawer was designed for a server rack, which is much deeper than the typical 17-inch deep audio rack.
Yep.
So that hung out to about there. And I had to cut it off with that saw that we were showing you guys earlier. And here's the results on that.
Max.
We've got this is what came off the back. There's a lot of electronics and stuff in here. And that saw max cut right through the rails like they were butter. It's nice. So I was able to get a nice, clean, fast cut through there with no hassle whatsoever. Very neat.
What kind of wheel did you use with the saw max for that?
Oh, metal cutting.
Oh. Okay.
Whatever that is. It's a giant Dremel wheel, really.
It's a lot of fun, actually. I messed up my bookshelves doing it, but it's a lot of fun.
All right, we will obviously have updates on this project again next week. We've got to finish this in time for our trip, so this is a priority. Stuff like the road jib and whatnot are probably going to slow down a little bit while we get everything in order for our trip.
So welcome back to the third installment of this mini tutorial where we look at the XBee.
Today's XBee is brought to you by the number 3.
Is it?
Evidently.
So last week we went through a whole bunch of different commands that you could use in the XBee to change the channel, to change the ID, to change the destination of where you wanted to send data to and where you wanted it received. So this week we are going to keep working with the same. We're going to actually finish up the commands, and we're going to use the same configuration as before.
Before you get too far in on that, I'd like to mention that XBee Wireless is now a Twitter account specifically for the XBees. So at XBEEWIRELESS.
Correct.
XBee Wireless.
Correct.
And they've been tweeting at us. They just created the account last week, so it's new.
Mm-hmm.
Get in there, follow them, let them know that we're all out here.
Right. So, are we all good?
I think so.
Okay.
Oh, they asked if we wanted to take a tour of their facilities.
We do, but we don't know which one to go to. There's one up in Minnesota, up here in Minnesota, just about north of us, about an hour and a half.
That should be fun.
Yeah. Okay. So we will continue with this tutorial. So we have our XBee on the USB adapter connected to the PC, and we're going to be using X-CTU from Digi. And we're going to do a feedback loop or a loopback thing here with an XBee and a connection between the data in and the data out pins. So, and that's the same as what we've been doing for the past two. So let us take a look at what we've been doing. I have this all set up, and I'm going to test and make sure that everything is okay. First by test querying with the X-CTU, and we see that everything is A-okay. I go to the range test. I want to start, make sure everything looks fabulous, and it's 100% good. Yay. And now we go to terminal. So if you remember, we can easily do hello world and see that whatever I ping out there, I get back. And then if you want to get into command mode, whoops, not underscore, I'm going to do +++, okay, and then you can get into command mode, and to leave command mode, we do ATCN. And if you want to make sure that your XBees are at their defaults, then you can use ATRE. So let's just get back into command mode. ATRE, okay. ATCN to close out, okay. And we're out back into the wild, so to speak. Now, the thing about XBees is that they can be part of these large mesh networks that we've been talking about. So the way you can have certain XBees talk to each other are by changing things like the destination address or the my address of the XBee. But there are also things that you can set up called personal area networks. And that's with the command ATID. So I believe default is 1. So I'm going to go ahead, or maybe it's 0, but either way, we'll find out. So ATID, let's go 2, and then close out. If I type out hello world, you'll see that my USB connected XBee is sending out to the area network of that's addressed as 2, whereas the one that the other one that I have is not at it. I'm going to see if it's actually at 1. So let's try to get back into command mode. TID 1. Nope, it's not at 1. So we'll try 0. ATID 0. Okay, ATCN, okay. Hello. Oh, I guess it's not that either. All right, well, in this case, since I don't know what the ID, the PAN ID is, I will just change everything back to default, close out, and here we go. It works again. Such silliness. I should find out what that is before. Anyway. Okay, so we got the personal area network. And then you can also change the frequency channel that the XBees talk on. So like I mentioned last time, depending on what kind of XBee you have, whether I think it's XBee normal, I guess, versus XBee Pro, it's like 12 versus 16 frequency channels. So it's like, if you change the channels, it'd be like an FM radio trying to talk to an AM radio, or an AM radio trying to talk to Morse code. So that's kind of like what I mean by frequency channels. So let's go ahead and do that. Hello world. Hello. Get into command mode with the +++. I'm going to go ahead and change the ATCH to D. And the default is actually C. We showed that earlier in the modem configuration tab. And so I'll do ATCN. Oh, it probably just timed out. But either way, you can tell that ATCN was sent as a packet out on channel D, but because the receiving XBee is not on channel D, we didn't actually see any reply. So I'm going to change it back to ATCHC. Okay, ATCN to close out of command mode. And there we go. We see that since it's talking now on the correct frequency channel, it can respond appropriately. And the thing about these channels is that there are, just like when you're sitting at home, you can get different types of, or different stations, some better than others. You know, some, like the one that you actually want to listen to, gets all fuzzy because it's maybe out of range or maybe in a town that's too far away. So in order to find out what the best frequency channel to talk on is, you'll want to maybe run the test called ED. And I don't remember exactly what that stands for, but that command actually lists the signal strengths in hexadecimal from the lowest to the highest channels. So let's do hello world again. La-di-da, wait a few. Get into command mode, ATED. And what we see here is that in hexadecimal, we get all of these lovely numbers that tell us how good or how bad each of those channels are. And then depending on which channel it is, you can choose for optimal XBee data sending, I guess. I'm not going to do the conversion, but you are more than welcome to. They're actually sitting right next to each other on the desk, so it's highly unlikely that they're all that bad. All right. And the last thing I wanted to cover was this thing called ATRO. So you'll notice when I do hello world, it's pretty quick. You know, the H goes out and the H immediately comes back. But say I want to lengthen the amount of time that my XBee waits before sending out a packet. So obviously you can use the assemble packet method to type out your entire packet. Let's see, I sent it. Yeah, see, there you go. And it's easy enough to do that. But say you want to use these commands to do it. The default is 3, and that means that the XBee will wait 3 character times before sending out a packet. And with this command, you can change it as much as up to 255. So the XBee will wait 255 character times before sending that packet. And that's done with the command ATRO space FF. So FF, kind of like that broadcast channel-esque commands that we've used before. So I'm going to go ahead and do ATRO FF. Yeah, ATCN. And I'm going to type really fast. Okay, and you'll see that I didn't have to use the assemble packet screen. I could just type it out. If I'm too slow, then you'll see that it's not actually waiting, or that the packet sent is just part of what I actually want sent. So, there's my fast, and then here's my slow typing. So, just a neat little tidbit of information for if you want to do everything via a terminal window. And I believe these are actually the commands that you can access with the propeller. So next time, I'm going to be going through actual communications between 2 different XBees without the feedback loop. And the setup is going to be slightly different, so I'll leave this part of the tutorial here for now. And then next week, we'll look at 2 different XBees talking to each other.
So this is what it looks like when we would normally be awake to shoot these videos. Mm-hmm. It's, what time is it?
9, 10 maybe?
It's in the evening. We're usually doing our stuff around this time. This isn't very useful. And this is the quality of light that we had in the studio up here previously. This is what we've, well, basically what's been keeping us from shooting up here. You can see it looks peach. and green. Not
Is it?
useful for very much.
Oh.
Yeah. So we finally got around to getting our 5600K lights. You've got one up there, and one up there, and there's one over there as well. So
they're really, really big.
let's see what sort of color we can get. Oh my. Look at that. Now that, my friends, is progress.
And where did you get these lights from?
Tymkrs, tymkrs.com.
/store.
Well, yeah, there's a link on the page for the toy store.
Yeah.
We are actually selling these in our store. But look at how much the camera likes those things. It's a thing of beauty, isn't it?
Let's do a quick show of the difference.
All
Ready?
right, go.
Whoops.
Oh, yeah.
And then.
And of course, the other light makes a lot of noise, and these are silent, which is nice.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to show you guys how I had to modify these guys to fit, because like she said, they're gigantic. Ooh, we're up on a ladder.
Yes. Or you are.
Rickety ladder. So this light bulb here, let me move it away there. You can see up inside there that
it's a big bulb. It's ginormous.
Alright, so we've got, for scale there, that is a really big CFL.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. And
Can we hold that? I can hold
the numbers on there. Right. Awesome.
hold it.
Let's give everybody vertigo. Yay. Alright, so up in here, you can see you've got that socket. But that socket was way back in there, and you notice there's this, like, thing. The back side of this bulb here wouldn't fit down into that. So I had to move the socket forward, and I achieved that by taking down the light, removing it from the wall. And this little adjustment screw right here is what holds the socket in place, and it was in this little adjustable slot. I drilled my own hole there,
Yep.
and that allowed us to
About it
push the
forward.
light all the way forward.
And we had enough wire too.
Yeah. Alright, let's show you guys the switches. Had hacked those too.
So this is our 6-gang switch plate.
You don't see these very often in houses.
No, apparently not. This one goes to the fluorescent. This one goes to some random plug. And then these
That
four,
isn't random. That's up by where the RoboJib is going. That turns on and off the outlet.
Yeah.
That one turns off the fluorescent, like she said, but she wants to replace it with directional spotlights, a group of them.
Yep.
And then these four
Track lighting.
were all
Dimmers.
dimmer switches for those 4 lights we showed you guys. But the problem with dimmers is that they don't work with CFLs.
Yep.
They work with quote dimmer
Dimmable
safe
yeah.
CFLs, but these are special order CFLs that are very specific and very strange, and they definitely weren't worried about whether or not they would work with dimmers or not.
Mm-hmm. So we had 4 of these take off, and so Whisker just switched them out. Now, does it take anything, because I've never switched switches, does it take anything besides unscrewing and screwing them? I mean, I imagine this...
Well, I'm not a licensed electrician, so I can't give licensed electrician advice about mains power stuff, but basically what I did was remove the wires from those screw terminals on each side of that, and the switches I put in are more modern. They have little holes in the back that the existing wire just slips right into. So I was able to do this job in a couple of minutes, replacing like with like.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it works. Nothing's blown up yet, so.
Yeah, it works amazing.
Good.
It's about the most simple house wiring thing you can do, so it's not really bragging rights, but if you are doing this kind of work, you do have to be careful because this stuff can bite you.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, we had to hack our lights a little bit, and now they're just interrupters.
Fiend.
We post videos all the time, so don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Twitter at TYMKRS.